Alright guys, welcome back to the Playhem NA $75 Mun Daily. I'm Zoya, with me is Unctious, our trial caster for the day. Click that feedback thread, let us know what you think about him. Also go to playhem.com, sign up for our tournaments, they're all free to sign up for. We have all league tournaments and they all have a money prize. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, 2 a day of each type of tournament. And let's get some introductions. Unctious, go for it!
Alright, spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Ohana, we have our green Protoss player, and his name is CCalms. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, a player that we've been following, a fan favorite by far. He is spawning as the Blue Terran, just now played in an hour and 12-minute game. His name is Dragon. Now, this is Ohana, which means it's a relatively small map. It's not that uncommon to see anything a little bit cheesy on this map, and it also just favors that aggressive sort of play. So we'll have to see what comes out of these players, but, I mean, I'm excited to say the least. Dragon with hands of steel saying, hour and 12 minutes? That's nothing. I do that 6 times a day streaming for my fans.
Success.
Indeed. I mean, he's feeling good about himself. Coming off a win like that, his morale must be higher than any player.
So I was wrong. I thought last round, by the way, was the round of 30 or 16, but last round was round of 32. So we still have one more best of 1. This is the last best of 1. If Dragon wins from here, he'll go to the round of 8, which will be a best of 3. But this is still a best of 1, which is important to note because if Dragon loses, he's out of the tournament.
Yeah, and that hour and 12-minute game would have been for naught.
Yep.
Although entertaining.
Yep.
Yeah, alright, so, I mean, once again...
If that's what you call entertaining, gosh, Unctious.
What's that?
That's what you call entertaining. Yeah.
I do. Entertainment at its finest. It looks like CCalms is going ahead and grabbing that, actually, Nexus first.
Yep.
He went straight for it. I mean, he's saying, I can do something a little bit more economic-based. A very, very nice macro play coming out of him. I mean, he knows what kind of player Dragon is, I imagine, so he has to imagine that there's something that could be coming his way, anything, whether it's aggression or macro play. So it's kind of ballsy to see him come out with that Nexus first. Yeah,
we'll have to see what Dragon's follow-up is. He has all these fun, crazy builds. He is a very aggressive player, unless he goes mass battle cruisers. But we'll have to see what Dragon's plan is here. He's going to scout the Nexus first very soon, sending that SCV across the map. How much will he be committing to this gas build? It wasn't gas first, so it's not the same opener we've seen in his other TVPs. We do see that factory is going down. How is he going to play this, though? I mean, he just played a long game. Could be exhausted. Might just go for the 1-1-1.
No, I mean, a showman in his prime. I mean, he knows exactly what he wants to do here. I mean, he, like you said, like you taught me, I mean, he very much very much favors reactored Hellion builds. It looks like this SCV will go down. Oh, it's still alive. One more probe hit will take that thing out.
The dance! The dance!
Oh, it does go down. Sadly enough, but, I mean, Dragon pretty much got whatever information he needed. He saw the Nexus up, he saw that the Cybernetics core and the Gateway were there, so he knows what's coming his way. He has a few Marines out, and he should feel fairly comfortable trying to expand out of this if he'd like to.
Oh, we'll have to see. There goes that starport going down. Look like it might just be Marine Hellion drop into the main base. We'll have to see what all he adds on. There's still only 1 gas, so the likelihood of it being cloaked Banshees very, very low right now. Reactor going down on that barracks. So it could still very well be 1-on-1. Will the Tech Lab go immediately down on this factory? Will this initial Hellion be for scouting, or is he going to build more?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, here we go. It looks like he's grabbing another Hellion, and just getting that reactor up, so, I mean, ooh, supply dropping. Yeah, Dragon not doing so good with the supply blocks, by the way.
Yeah, supply blocking himself pretty big there. It's not the end of the world to use supply blocks. I've had a talk with it with Kibbles. Using the supply drops, it's not the worst thing ever. The less you use mules, the more you'll have. The longer you'll have an economy. The faster you mine out your bases, the worse off you're going to be. So it's not the end of the world that he had to do that. It's still not optimal, though, this early in the game, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially, even, like, you could be doing better, is my point. I mean, he could, without supply blocks, he could be getting more units up a little bit quicker. Maybe he wanted to get a couple more SCVs out, and by using that drop instead, you know, he didn't have to actually take anything off to build, but at this point he's just going to grab his next command center, and he does have that map control, a couple of Hellions out in the field, also a few Marines, so he's looking pretty good for himself right now, and it looks like a couple gateways being hidden way in the back. We got 4 gateways coming down right now, and finally CCalms grabbing that second gas.
Yeah, he's going to be going up to 5 gates very soon here. We see the Marines loading up. We should be seeing some harassment in the main base while Hellions run by into the natural. Dragon do as much damage as possible. There's a pylon going down. And this is going to put Dragon in a scary spot. He doesn't have the bunker down in position. So as soon as this attack gets cleaned up, Dragon's going to have a 5-gate all-in, you know, coming at him really quickly. One of these gateways not worked in just yet. We'll have to see how Calms is going to hold off this aggression. Hellions running up right now. They're getting lots of attacks hit on them right now. I'm not going to get the best harassment so far.
No, but I mean, the bigger thing is if he runs one over into the main, he might be able to see what's coming his way, but he doesn't. He just sees that there's quite a few units out right now. Oh, did those Marines spot that pylon? Oh, it looks like they did. They actually took quite a few hits on it. So Calms' hand kind of revealed over here. Dragon knows he needs to be on the defensive, and he should be getting some bunkers down. In fact, he is. He's basically sacking his natural and saying, I just need to defend at my main. I'll try to slow the forces down with my Marines along the way, kind of kite any units back, and then move on up into the natural at that point. But move back up into my main where I'll defend reasonably. But
oh, Medevac getting caught in the middle of the map here. Dragon losing all those Marines. He can't afford to do that because, like you said, Calm has a 5-gate that could be pushing any second now. He's trying to squeeze out those siege tanks. I love the bunker on the high ground as opposed to the low ground because he's more than likely going to have to lift off this command center. He realizes that. But he's still in a rough spot, even with 2 of these bunkers. He's just decided not even to risk it.
You know what's bad for 5-gate attacks? Getting supply blocked. And no pylons were started when he hit 60 out of 60. So his army could actually be bigger right now. But that's all right. I mean, he's going to try to move up here anyway. But Dragon already in a defensive posture, made that orbital command and then lifted it and put it on the high ground so he has an economy to deal with. And he's actually going to be totally okay if he holds off this attack. He's going to be able to have that natural coming down very, very quickly. But here comes Calms. He has 2 more pylons coming down as well. And he's going to lead with these zealots. And Siege Tech isn't done quite yet. It's going to be a little bit before it finishes. It needs to get those Stalkers in a good position. That Siege Tank getting taken out very, very quickly, and now immediately going for that bunker. SCV is not being pulled at all, so that bunker will go down, and there's not that much up here for Dragon, while a huge force breaks in through the main, and it looks like SCVs are being pulled to try to repair that Siege Tank for as long as possible, for it to deal as much damage as possible, and Calms perhaps overextending himself just barely, but with another couple warpins, maybe he can do something, but he might just be pulling on back.
I wouldn't be surprised then. There goes taking his 3rd and 4th gas. Would like to see him just contain Dragon for a little bit, prevent him from just doing what he's doing right now and going back down and securing his natural. But he's just going to go back home. He's going to start macroing again, starts current boosting probes. And that's a smart decision. I mean, he did okay amount of damage. He sniped a couple siege tanks, killed a couple bunkers. He delayed Dragon's economy, so it's going to come out into an okay game. It's going to be a weird transition for Calms, though.
Yeah, I mean, Calms does have that, because he has that economic lead, he was able to afford losing a little bit more than his opponent in that attack, which he did. He definitely lost a few more units than he probably would have liked to. But now, I mean, Dragon's looking super safe, grabbing his 3rd command center, and now he's going to be able to make his way back into this. In fact, he looks like he's going to go for a pretty big drop over in the left-hand side of his opponent's base.
Does he have stim started yet? No, he's only on the barracks. He's adding on a 2nd factory, so I think we're going to be seeing that same build we've seen all of his PvPs. And if people in chat are saying this, what is saying is true, is that he's tired, he's like falling asleep at his keyboard. I don't know why he's going back.
For the fans, the show must go on.
I guess.
This is Dragon style.
Yep.
I mean, also, I mean, if it's tried and true, if this is what he's been working on as far as TVP is concerned, I mean, there's $45 on the line, man.
Yes.
Yeah. First place is $45, right? He needs to shoot for it. Go big or go
home.
home.
Buy yourself some Korean barbecue with that. Quite a few times. I mean, you can get some lunch, some food, you know, be set.
Kimchi. Tons and tons of kimchi. But here comes the drop. Moving on into the base, there are a couple units up here. Nope, there's nothing up here right now. And it looks like workers aren't getting pulled quite yet. In fact, almost all these guys are going to be able to come on down. Now, if he doesn't... Oh, it looks like all these probes are just being put onto gas instead of pulling them out of the entire base. And there's nothing here. In fact, that's actually just going to Calms to try to do something. Oh, no, he's not even moving forward. He's letting so many probes die right now. A ton of zealots all being finally pulled back. But that did way more damage than I think Dragon had even ever dreamed of.
He was like even focus firing down the probes in that engagement. Like he wasn't just like A-clicking the zealots. He was target firing all of his 33 harvesters have been killed this game. That is not at all how that was supposed to happen. Dragon, man.
I mean, that puts him in a beautiful position now because he has 3 orbitals up. He's got siege tanks with siege tech done. He's got enough Marines over here to handle. And now Calms, what does he do? Does he have to just go all in at this point? I mean, he's got charge finishing. He has armor finishing. And he's not really on an economy to really work his way out of this. So I think this is going to be the big push.
I don't even know if this is going to work for Calms. There's already, what, 4 or 5 siege tanks here? That is more than enough to hold this off. This is a very stalker-heavy composition. These are going to get devoured. The Zealots, Blue Flame, I believe, just finished, so they're going to get devoured by the Blue Flame Hellions. The sentry count, not very high. I mean, there's no immortals in this mix. And
no, not at all. He has a War Prism coming out as well. But I mean, that's pretty far away because it doesn't need to make it across the entire map. But all right, here comes CCalms' army. I mean, this might be his last chance. He has that pylon still up on the high ground, and everything just completely clumped up, walking into a ton of siege, takes beautiful position. These units are never going to be able to get us around on all these tanks because they are kind of walled off on this choke point, and this is exactly where Dragon wanted to engage, but he has to pull a lot of SCVs to try to do it here. He's only got 2 tanks left, 1 tank left. The last tank is all that stands, and he's going to try to move on forward. He might be able to push this off for a little while. And meanwhile, that Warp Prism finally moving across the base, and now everything that Dragon has is kind of pulled forward. This Warp Prism might be able to do some damage if he's not paying attention.
Yep, the Stalker's coming forward. They're going to catch this last siege tank off guard. Warp Prism is not being microed on the main base. Maybe CCalms forgot about it. And this is the problem with Dragon's build. There was that window of opportunity where the Raven didn't have enough of a point defense drone. He just couldn't remax fast enough. And these Zealots are going to do a lot of damage. The SCVs are forced to be attacked. But remember, he killed so many Harvesters early on, he can afford to lose some, but he might be just losing a little too many.
That many, yeah. He could not afford to be losing that many, though. He could afford to lose quite a few. There are still some Stalkers over here, but CCalms doesn't have that much to warp in anymore. He has a couple sentries back here, and meanwhile, that Warp Prism unable to really do anything. It's not even moved in right now. It looks like CCalms is focusing so much over here, and now he should just kind of get on out of here. He can't really do that much more damage until he moves in with some more units, and sure enough, here comes